Hey folks, Biz Talk with Sean here, and I want to talk about my experience with public access television. Why? Because I'm using great equipment and I've used great facilities with great people, and I'm going to be using this to leverage social media in multiple ways. Long story short, I've got a bunch of videos on a Mac drive and I run a PC at home, and I have not been able to crack that Mac drive. I used to be an IT guy, I know the programs, they're not working. I have to use an actual Mac. But I want to tell you about public access television because right now I'm using a camera that can record at 4K. And this is CCTV equipment. And most of those videos that you see with like gray in the background, it is a wall-to-wall green screen. Public access television is available for pretty much all of you in every major city in the country, which is pretty awesome. And I had the unique privilege of interviewing Alan Bouchon. He is the executive director for CCTV, right? And I mean, it was 30 minutes of like no dead space whatsoever. The reason I interviewed him was to ask him, hey, how did you build your business? How did you build this business from scratch? I want all of you to be able to do what you love, because as you see, I'm kind of doing what I love right now. I would prefer to be in a studio with no neighbors or anything like that, no garbage truck in the background picking stuff up. They've given me the ability to record from home because I'm passionate about this stuff. I love making content for you guys, and I love educating. And that's what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to teach you how to use public access television, public access radio in future episodes that I have to edit because they're on a Mac drive and I can't edit them right now. Let me tell you why public access is so great. So number one, I'm not paying for the camera I'm using right now. I'm not paying for the boom mic I have in there. This is awesome. Like, I'm using top tier equipment, okay? Think of the top tier about 5 to 7 years ago. That's what I'm using right now. So it's still top tier. This camera is its own little thing. It's amazing. I mean, it can record 60 frames per second at 1080p. Nothing. And if you notice with any social media, like any YouTube presence, like for example, Anna Akana, I follow her because she is a fascinating story, a fascinating development, and she uses top tier equipment, and you have access to those with public access television. It is literally available in every city, however, the terms kind of differ. So let me tell you what you get first. Number one, there's training. You've got access to training, and now we've got a wood chipper. Isn't that great? So with public access television, you'd almost always get a training. You have two options. You can donate a little bit of your time and learn on the job. You can learn how to use a camera, you can use the sound equipment and all of that on the job. That is experience that is rare. With CCTV and with others, you get that. You get training. And we're talking software training, studio training, and studio board training, and camera training. Like you can learn whatever you want to, and then you can use it, like hands-on, and you've got people looking over your shoulder guiding you through the entire process. If you don't want to volunteer your time, because with CCTV, I can only speak to what I know, right? So with them, you've got to donate 3 hours of your time for one class. So film a basketball game. That's going to be like 4 or 5 hours. If you want to do a double header, it's going to be 6. You got 2 classes covered with one evening learning on the job. Using a camera, like one of those big cameras, is pretty freaking fun because you're always moving. It's like you think those camera operators are just, oh, okay, I'm bored. No, it's not even like that. It is nonstop. You got a person speaking in your ear, you got another person speaking in your ear, you're moving things around, you're following direction. It's a pretty intense process. I love it. I really do enjoy it, and I didn't think that I would. So you get this hands-on experience, and then you've got access to equipment. So literally wall-to-wall green screen in CCTV, both studios. They've got big studios. They're set up for multiple formats. So if you just want to be in front of a green screen, if you want to sit in a chair in front of one, or if you want to have like a 5-chair symposium or a panel with a table in the middle with, you know, maybe an old clock or something, yeah, you have that. They've got props, they've got light costuming, they've got everything that you would need. And they're expanding. But let's stick to what they have. Okay, you also get access to Mac computers. And again, these are like 4 or 5-year-old ones. They're pretty dang good. And they're using Final Cut Pro. So Final Cut Pro, I mean, if you want to get a green screen setup or anything like that for YouTube or Instagram or any of those, you want Final Cut Pro. Because right now I'm using Adobe Premiere Pro. It's okay, it's not as good as Final Cut, point blank and simple. And they have wonderful microphone setups, lighting setups. You'll find that in all of these different public access television studios. And if you need to take a camera off-site, what do you think I'm doing now? And one other thing that I think is more valuable than even the equipment is just the people. I mean, I can't tell you how much I value the people there. Luis is the one that teaches the studio classes. So how do you use a camera? How do you use this? How do you use the soundboard and the visual board and all that? He's the one that teaches it, and he is passionate. Like everybody at public access television, they are passionate. They are happy to help you. Make no mistake, they want to help you and they want you to make content. With all of this wonderful equipment and whatnot, are there any catches? Yes. And I'll tell you why this is okay and why I'm okay with these catches. Number one, they want first dibs. Why? Because they've got to validate them being up. Like, for example, Matthew O'Dowd, he does PBS Spacetime, which if you're into astrophysics or if you're into just physics, you gotta watch that. PBS Spacetime on YouTube. Yeah, he puts them on YouTube, but PBS wants to air it too on television. They've got contracts, okay? Public access television, it's kind of like a combination. I'm trying to say a word and I swear it's not coming out. So it's kind of a combination. You've got the local government paying for it, you know, it's a nonprofit. Every public access television is nonprofit, right? But then you've also got, the reason that they have it in a lot of ways is, for example, Comcast. Comcast is out here, they are the big player, okay? If anybody tried to come into their turf, I mean, bam, get out of here. That's Comcast. And that's what I'm using on my computer. They're a great service. Well, when they wanted to run their wires underneath the city, through the city, around the city, and blah, 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 they had to sign a contract with the city. And what the city included in that contract was, you know what, give us a couple channels. We want a couple channels because maybe somebody wants to create something. And Comcast did. Because of why? They got the entire Salem area. Why would they say no? And plus, some of that content is really unique. Comcast signs a contract with the city, state, whatever you want to call it. It's the city. This is going to air on Comcast. That's awesome because you've got a huge, huge consumer base that's just staying at home. And make no mistake, the people that are staying at home, if you guys watching this on actual television, not YouTube, a lot of those folks are the nicest folks in the world. If you say, hey, can you go to YouTube and like and subscribe to my channel and so on and so forth, guess what? You just got a subscriber base. I'll give you an example. Rideshare Commando. It's right between these two things. So yeah, Rideshare Commando, that's my YouTube. Let's do an experiment right here because there are some other catches and I'll talk about them in a second. If you want to see this content later on, or if you want to learn more about my business courses that I'm going to be releasing or have released, yeah, Rideshare Commando is the account name on YouTube. And I'm saying it this way because we got some older viewers too. And older viewers are just the nicest people in the world. Just some super cool people are at home right now just watching, hey, I've got cable, why not check this out? CCTV or public access television, they want to air your content first so that people can watch it. They get first dibs. Once you give it to them, once they put it in their databanks and give it a schedule, which this show is going to air probably 6-7 times. Just like all my other shows, they air 6, 7, sometimes 9 times, which is pretty cool. I don't mind the exposure, but that is a great platform to start yourself off with if you want to grow in social media. Maybe you've got a business that you want to talk about how you do certain things or what it is that you're bringing and why you did it. Okay, that brings us to our catch number 2. You can't sell anything. This is not an advertisement network. This is commercial free. It's nonprofit. You can't really solicit, but you can say, if you want more information, come visit. Boom. Rideshare Commando on YouTube. I can say that, but I can't say like, subscribe, and join. It's only $5.99. I can't say that. And I don't have that. So, I mean, I'm perfectly fine and clear. People at CCTV. Yeah, you can't sell anything. You can talk about something. You can tell people where they can go to get more information or where you can go to visit, but you can't sell. And that's something that I do talk about in a later episode that I have to edit. It's on that hard drive. I just don't have access to it right now. I will soon. But public access television is just, it's fantastic. Those are pretty much the only 2 catches. Number 1, you've got to sign a contract with them saying, I'm going to start this show. What you put on the show has to be relevant to the show. For example, I got 2 shows. I got Psych Talk and I got Biz Talk. One talks about psychology and one talks about business. You've seen them on some of my episodes on YouTube, or if you're watching on CCTV, you've seen some of this too, where my psych shows, they kind of vary. I mean, I've talked about Schadenfreude, the pathology of the ego, I talked about autism, and then on the business side, I've had a little bit of fun too, but it's mostly education. So on the business side, it's just strictly education. I'm trying to educate you guys on over a decade worth of study, exposure, experience, consulting, you name it. I'm just here to help you guys. Maybe you're starting a business of your own and you want to do a brick and mortar store, or you want to just grow your business. I'll teach you how to do it with social media, and I'll teach you how to do it within the confines of public access. You see what I'm doing right now? And if you don't believe me, if you genuinely say, hey, this is malarkey, and I'm saying that word for the older folks around, but if you want to say it's malarkey, then just watch. This is not the first channel I built. If you want to go to Rideshare Commando, see that shameless plug? You can do that all the time. You can do that all you want to. It's a shameless plug. I've been in the consulting world for about 10 years. You could just watch me. Watch this channel, Rideshare Commando, on YouTube, and just watch it grow if you don't believe me. If you're not sure, hey, do I want to take his advice? Okay, sit around for a little bit, subscribe to the channel, to the YouTube channel, and just watch. Give it a couple months, you'll see the subscriber base grow, then you'll see it grow again, then you'll see it grow again. And I point you to people who are smarter than me when it comes to certain things like Wild for Games. If you're looking to really grow your channel, that's the way to go. I cover the business side of things. Here's what you should talk about. Here's how you should lay it out. Here's how you should plan out. He is over here saying, okay, I'm just social media and I'm going to teach you how to do it. I'm going to teach you how to make money from it. And I tell you how he did what he did. But he's the expert when it comes to growing a social media channel. That Denver guy is another one, but he sells a course and I'm not a fan of people who sell courses. And that's kind of one of the confines of public access is, let's say you were to use swear words or analogies that are not politically correct, or I guess you might say child-friendly. If you're not child-friendly, then boom, you get the late afternoon slot. If you're just swearing and all that good stuff, you're not even in the teenager category, you get put on air later on in the day. Doesn't affect YouTube whatsoever. YouTube's got its own little thing, right? I mean, YouTube's where you're going to be making some of your money. With public access, it's such an amazing vehicle for social media. Because get this, Cctv, they're expanding to include podcasts. Yeah, that's actually something I'm about to do because I'm more comfortable in front of a green screen in a studio with no people in it than I am sitting on my porch with neighbors and sounds and all that good stuff. I'm more comfortable in an actual studio, and I can't wait till they reopen. Public access, that's how a lot of places got started. I mean, you know about Bob Ross. We all know Bob Ross. You know, the paint guy? Oh, it's not a mistake, it's a little bird. Okay, we know him. We know Reading Rainbow. We know Sesame Street. Okay, these are our household names. And they started with public access. And PBS Spacetime, I mean, that is like a nerd's place. And then you've got other PBS shows. I forget the one that talks about history and how things evolved. If you're a nerd, it's awesome stuff. And what I'm teaching here is I'm teaching business. And I'm giving you examples. Why am I giving you so many examples? Because I want you to know that this is real. And I may be getting up real quick if that bee comes anywhere close to me. I should not be wearing a lapel mic. I hate bees. Don't do that. Yeah, that was a break. Give me a second to calm my heart rate down, he said as he took a drink of coffee. Public access, they give you these top tier, like better than anything that you can buy on Amazon, cameras, studio setups, and it's all free because it's public access. The reason they do that is because of people like Bob Ross and Sesame Street and Mr. Rogers. Yeah, I mean, we all know those names. We all celebrate those channels. I mean, Sesame Street, how many years were they on? And how many kids did they teach that are now adults? I mean, this is amazing stuff. And with social media the way that it is, I'm about to start a podcast. Because again, I don't feel comfortable on my porch making videos. I feel more comfortable in the studio or just talking into my phone. So I'm going to actually be starting a podcast pretty soon. Public access, what it does is, it gives you a vehicle to where you don't have to drop hundreds or thousands of dollars to get some really good equipment. You've got it in your city. You just got to make your way over there. One of the challenges that people have had with CCTV, everything runs on a Mac over there. And yes, it is better equipment. Yes, it is better software. People don't want to sit there for hours and hours and hours on end to be able to edit a video. They want to go in, record, then edit at home. Because we all got laptops, right? Certain laptops or desktops may take a little bit longer. And that's just processing speed. And I won't bore you with technical details and specs and all that good stuff because I'll go off for hours. But long story short is this, not everybody wants to stay in the studio and edit for hours. And some of these do take hours. I mean, make no mistake, building a social media brand is not an easy thing to do. There's a lot that goes into it. Think about it this way. If a 30-minute video takes about an hour 45 minutes to an hour of recording unless you just really organize your points. But then you might fall a little bit short of, whatever your time frame is. With a 30-minute thing, you can cut it like 30 minutes. Okay, subject, okay, that's a video, that's a video, that's a video. And I'm doing that right now. I'm going to be releasing another video pretty soon. The last one was what if AI takes over the world? And then the other one's going to be first contact, psychology stuff. It's pretty awesome. And that was one episode I cut in half. So you can do those kind of things. I'm going to teach you all those little tricks that I'm currently using. And again, subscribe to this channel and on YouTube and just watch me if you don't believe me. It's going to happen. I mean, I've followed too many people. Ryukar is one guy who literally, I saw him working a regular job and recording a couple videos here and there. He plays Super Mario Maker, like the expert levels, the ones that nobody can beat. That's what he does. He transitioned from just, doing it as a hobby to, okay, he quit his job. And he did that, I believe, about 4 months ago because he was making so much money off YouTube. That is a real possibility. So if you don't believe me, sit around, watch, and subscribe. What I'm going to do is I'm going to prove it. There's also ways that you can grow your businesses too. For example, I'm talking to a local coffee shop. I want them to use social media a lot more because whether Instagram, I teach all of that stuff. Wild for Games, he teaches you how to engage an audience. And I highly recommend him. I'm going to put him up here. Wild for Games. I highly recommend him. I've been following him for years. This is what he does. He's a professional painter and he teaches people how to leverage social media. I teach from a business standpoint. So I'm going to teach you how to, like the coffee shop, here's how you make a perfect latte. People aren't going to have the equipment that they have. And if they do, they're not going to a latte stand. So they could still make money from those people watching how they make a perfect cup of coffee. Because these guys at Arbor Hut Espresso, in my opinion, they make a perfect cup of coffee. I kid you not. And the jellies that they make, they have this jalapeno jelly that is just wonderful, absolutely sublime. Not even hot, just sublime. And they're going to be making videos showing how they do it to some degree. They're not going to give away the secret sauce, okay? Because there are still people like Dan Harmon of Rick and Morty that want to learn the McDonald's Szechuan sauce recipe. They're not going to give away the secret sauce. And you don't have to either if you're a small business owner. You can talk about your expertise. Now, another cool thing about Cctv is, let's say you're a college student. I have filmed multiple basketball games at colleges, like Corbin University. If you're a student there, why not use it? Why not talk about your expertise? All right, I want you to do something. I'm going to put this up here. And this is part of an episode that I'm going to be editing, right? IBM SPSS. I want you to search that on YouTube. If you're watching on Cctv, write this down, or if you're watching this on Comcast, write it down, and I'm going to keep this up here for a little bit, just so you have the chance to write it down. I want you to look it up. Maybe you've got a nephew or niece or son or daughter in college. Okay, write this down. IBM SPSS. Why do I say that? Because you'll find a lot of college students that are talking about IBM SPS, how to do certain things in it. You'll see just a college student, or you'll just hear some of them. They make money off of these videos and they're showing off their expertise, okay? Because all of us are an expert at something. You could be an expert at Hello Kitty. There's something that all of us have been interested in for 10 years or longer and have been following avidly, have worked in, or something of that nature. An expert is defined of 10 years of applicable practice, study, practice, and application, or study, application, and practice, whatever study, practice, and application. 10,000 hours or 10 years. All of us have had something we're interested in for 10 years, so there's nothing wrong with talking about it, but if you are an expert, or if you are becoming an expert and you're in college, this is a great way to springboard your career. Why? Because if your channel is named after you, or if you include that in your resume, your YouTube channel, then what employers can do is they can pre-vet you. Hey, do they know this stuff? Oh, yes, they do. CCTV or public access television is fantastic for students. Make no mistake. If you want to edify your career, especially in this competitive marketplace of COVID-19, where people are getting laid off left and right, people are offering, oh, you've got a master's degree and you're a therapist, let me pay you $14 an hour. That was a legitimate offer from a therapist I know. He literally got offered $14 an hour, and you have to be licensed and have a master's degree. This job market is insane. I've never seen anything like it, and I hope to God I never see anything like it again. But you've got to be more competitive than other people. I mean, I was around when video resumes were like a new, emergent, awesome thing. Well, this is your video resume, your channel. If you're a college student, do that. If you are a business owner, do that. We're going to be providing you, between myself and Wild for Games, which by the way, I'm not working with him, I'm just directing you to him because he knows his stuff. And I'm going to be directing you to a few other places in certain scenarios because they know their stuff. They know their stuff better than I do. I'm just really good at business when it comes to advising, consulting, and so on. I've been doing it for 10 years, supporting myself very well. I've had some very expensive cars. But with public access, I mean, this is a 4K camera. You've got so much, and all of it's free. And that's the big thing is a public utility. It's not a charity or nothing like that, like, hey, I'm disabled, cannot. No. Anybody can do it. Okay, you'll find state congressmen, senators, and governors, and so on, directors. They go to CCTV when they need to get a word out. Now, are they the greatest at it? Not really, no. I mean, they don't know how to leverage social media. They know that, hey, everything's moving to the internet. And business owners are seeing the same thing too. They don't know how to leverage social media. And that's where Wild for Games comes into play, plus I'm going to be teaching you a thing or two as well. So, and let me break it down this way. Wild for Games is your deployment. I'm your preparation for deployment. So, he's got the vehicle and all that good stuff. He'll tell you how to build a following, build a subscriber base, all that good stuff. I'll tell you how to set up your business and how to leverage the marketing, because I've been doing the consulting of it for the past 10 years, plus I've built a couple brands of my own. And why are we doing this? So number one, with views, I get some money from it. Not a lot, but eventually I'm going to be doing this full time. And I'm going to be doing a lot of different types of content. If you want an example, Screen Rant. They have so much content, it's not even funny. So that's the direction I'm going in. And I love people. I mean, don't get me wrong, I don't love people, but I love helping people. That's just kind of built into me. My grandmother was literally about to be a nun 3 weeks after meeting my grandfather. She was already signed up and ready to go. And she was the one that raised me, because both my parents were working all the time. So I had the world's greatest grandmother. And she taught me to be charitable. That's why I'm doing this, to teach all of you. I can go out there and work for some crooked people and make some really good money. I choose not to. I'm choosing to help you guys because I care about the economy. I care about all of you. But if you are a business owner, if you want to start your own social media channel and maybe just make your living off of social media, or if you're a college students, listen up. If you know a college student, listen up. Public access gives them top-tier equipment, top-tier exposure, and it gives them the chance to show off their skills online. They're going to be applying for a regular job, okay? I'm not saying everybody needs to be a social media star. I'm not saying any of that stuff. I'm saying use it as a vehicle. This is a prime option. Maybe they just want to start a podcast. They don't want to get in front of a camera. That's fine. CCTV is doing it, and a lot of other places are doing it too. And there's a great place. They've got great studios to be able to interview other people and have it go out on professional equipment. Now, if you were to buy something similar to this one, to this setup right here with the camera and the sound and all that good stuff, you'd be throwing out bare minimum a few $100, because you've got to have a computer that can keep up, you've got to have a webcam that can keep up, and you've got to have decent sound. What you'll notice from the major players on social media is they all have decent sound, they all have decent lighting, they all have decent cameras. And public access, I mean, people who work in public access television, they love what they do. You walk over to CCTV, there's not a single person over there that doesn't love what they do. Not a single person, not even the person in front, who's basically an office manager. Megan. So, I mean, they've got some wonderful people there that are just enthusiastic about helping and teaching and growing. They really are. They're public servants just like me. And I think this is a fantastic avenue for all of you to use. Don't be afraid to get in front of a camera, and if you are afraid to get in front of a camera, maybe record yourself a few times. Being camera shy is a real thing, okay? I'm camera shy. And your surroundings, they make a difference too. If you need a studio, because I like a studio, I don't like neighbors. I don't like background noise. I don't like any of that stuff. That bothers me, and it takes away a lot of my personality. Because I got a loud personality. Some of you do too. Or maybe some of you are just shy to be around other people. That's a very natural reaction, okay? And that's the psych in me talking. And when it comes to being able to build a brand, you got to use social media nowadays. Whether it's your own brand, whether it's your business's brand, or whether you want to do it full time. All of those options are available right now. I mean, our economy is in the world's biggest flux right now. So why not take advantage of it? Now, is public access open yet? No, but you can prep for it. You can get yourself ready. You can outline different episodes. And I'm going to talk about that in the next show, or maybe this one. Basically, I'm going to be cutting this off in just a minute and moving on to the next subject. But I'll teach you how to outline your videos, which obviously I don't do. I take pride in shooting from the cuff. Most people can't do that. And I don't mean to say that I'm better or anything like that. It's just how I'm built. I'm functionally autistic. So, like right now, you are seeing me wearing the filter, but to be able to do it properly, I guess, how to say this, to tone it down to where all of you can receive it, it's just easier for me to shoot off the cuff. Once I'm in the studio, I actually have, you know, a script or an outline or any of that, but when I'm shooting at home, this is just easier for me, and that's just a personal thing. And that's what's great about things like CCTV, is if I wanted to take a camera to a place and film a thing, I can. I have to check it out. They have to have, you know, my signature on a contract. I have a certain time frame, kind of like the public library, to return the book, or then recheck it out, or check out another. Excuse me. The allergies are real, but the flowers are beautiful. So, I mean, you have the ability to take equipment with you. Now, are they going to be verifying who the heck you are and whatnot, and maybe have you show up more than a few times? Yeah. I mean, you've got to build a rapport, and you've got to build a certain level of trust to be able to take really expensive stuff off-site. That's natural. Okay? I mean, you wouldn't loan your car to any Tom, Dick, and Harry on the street, would you? No. Okay, so I mean, let's be real for 2 seconds. But this is a great vehicle to be able to film and to be able to put yourself out there. Or maybe you just want to record audio. Maybe you want to do a podcast or a radio show. Public access radio is also available in literally every major city in the US. It's there. You want to do a podcast and you want like, no, I want the best mic. I don't need a camera. Yeah, they've got it. KMUZ, Public Access Radio in Salem, Oregon. Yeah, I know him. I know the place. Ken is the guy that I was introduced to. And Ken is just a fantastic person. And they've got some fantastic people creating content and putting out radio shows or talk shows or podcasts. Okay, all of this is available to you, and I'm going to show you how to leverage it. Right now, I'm just telling you my experience with CCTV. But wait till you see that interview with Alan Bouchon. I mean, once you see how it was built and just get a little bit of background as to the ground up, if you're starting a business from the ground up, that's why I interviewed him. The more I learned about how they built it and just what went into it and the structure that they grew it from, the more profound it became to me. I mean, I initially thought, oh, public access television, woohoo! But man, when you see the workings and when you get to use the equipment and when you get that hands-on training, there's nothing better. Not if you want to grow a business, because businesses have to grow through social media. I mean, can you go around it? Yes. But businesses, you're going to be left behind. Point blank and simple. Things are moving too fast. Okay, it's just like the .com era. Like nowadays you have to have a website if you have a business, right? It's the same concept. Okay, it started out slow back then. Social media was the same way. And at some point, you're going to have a social media channel, whether it's a podcast or something else, if you want to be competitive. So I'm going to teach you how to do it, and I'm going to point you to people smarter than me when I don't know something or when they know something more than I do. I want you guys to stay safe out there. Remember, the mask is to protect other people from you. You could be a carrier for COVID-19. Wear a mask. Gloves, those are to protect you because, I mean, you've seen me scratching my eye. Oh my gosh, there's something in my eye. Huh. You see that? I would have just exposed myself. So wear gloves. Social distancing. Whether you saw it or not, there was some spittle right there. Okay? Teeny bit. But enough to pass on COVID-19 to somebody that might be vulnerable, or to somebody that is shopping for somebody vulnerable. Hey, Grandma, I'm going to go get you I'll get your groceries for you. You don't have to go out. Oh, thank you, baby. And then that person becomes a carrier, comes back, gets Grandma infected, and Grandma, we've lost a lot of people to this. A lot of prominent people, and a lot of people none of you know. So just be safe out there, okay? Wear your mask, wear your gloves. I mean, to use the American term, man up. or woman up. And just be safe out there, okay? I'll catch you next time.